Hi, my name is Mo Fair, and I am the Education Program Manager for the Sand Creek Regional Greenway Partnership. And today, we are out on the Greenway. We're at the Smith Road Trailhead, and I'm actually standing directly in front of what we call Phragmites. This right here. Phragmites is a very tall plant. It's actually a grass, and it is invasive, and it can be noxious. What does that mean? Well, that means that this plant is not very good for our ecosystem here. So this plant, Phragmites, tends to outcompete all of our good native plants, and it does that by growing in really dense clusters, and it doesn't allow sunlight to come through to all of our other plants. As you can see, they can get to be pretty tall, sometimes over 10 to 15 feet. They can get really, really up there. And so because they're growing so tall, a lot of our smaller plants don't have a chance to compete with them. And so it really does just kind of take over an area. However, the interesting thing about the Phragmites that we have on the Sand Creek Greenway is that it also offers a habitat. Do you know what type of bird tends to live in and around Phragmites on the Sand Creek Greenway? One of them is called the Red Winged Blackbird. Let's listen really closely and see if we can hear anything. So those chirps behind me are made by the Red Winged Blackbird, and it's made by the male and by the female. On the shoulder of a male blackbird, it has a red and orange patch. You can see it kind of, if I were the bird, right where my shoulder connects, that's right where that patch would be. And it's a beautiful red and orange color. And they present them for two reasons. They present that patch, one, to attract females, and two, to claim their territory, to kind of say, hey, I'm the big guy and this is my area. So that's what the male looks like. The female is a more of a patchy color. They tend to be a little brown, a little gray, and their belly has stripes on them, or bars. And you can see them also within these really tall Phragmites plants. The males and the females both live in these plants. The male, they are kind of all over the place. Within one season, they mate with about 10 to 15 females, while the female, they are in charge of building their nests. They build ground grass nests, and they can be found within the Phragmites anywhere from right off the ground up to about 14 feet, which is one reason why this Phragmites is interesting for our area, because although it is invasive, it also offers habitat for our red-winged blackbirds. So when our female lays their eggs, it usually lays for about 11 to 14 days, and then those eggs hatch. And then the little baby birds, they stay with their mom for about 2 weeks. And then after those 2 weeks, they fly off and they start to become more independent. Most female red-winged blackbirds only have about one brood per year, but some really brave souls, sometimes they'll have 2 to 3 per year, but that's not very common. So what's one thing you should look for when you are in a wetland area, such as the Sand Creek Greenway, and you think maybe you could be around a red-winged blackbird? Well, indication number one, water. Red-winged blackbirds live within marshes and riparian zones. So you want to look for something like a lake or a creek or a stream, and that'll let you know that you're close to them. They also like to live in tall plants. So if it's not something like a Phragmites, you're going to look for something that's tall and offers them security. It's good for them because it offers shelter, which is part of a habitat, somewhere where they can be safe. These red-winged blackbirds are also carnivores, mostly. They will go off after a lot of vertebrates, which is fun and interesting because One of their favorite foods is a dragonfly, and here at the Sand Creek Greenway, we have a lot of dragonflies. During the winter, red winged blackbirds do sometimes become omnivores, which means that they will eat meat and plants. So they'll eat a dragonfly during the summer, and then during the winter, when dragonflies and other things like that aren't available, they'll go after berries and different things like that. So those are the things you're going to look for, and you're also going to listen. You're going to listen for their songs and their calls. The males and the females sound a little bit differently based off of their song. The males have a really sharp, big sound, and then after that sharp, big sound, it's a long musical trill. That's our male. And our female has more of a repetitive click. Those are the two sounds you're going to try to listen for when you are here at our Sand Creek Greenway looking for a red winged blackbird. One more thing very obvious to look for is at the very top of the plants. So this guy right here. The red winged blackbirds are about the size of my hand, and they like to perch on the top of these plants and kind of look for surroundings. They look in their surroundings for food and for danger and anything else that they need to be aware of. So next time you're at the Sand Creek Greenway and you happen to come upon tall plants like this, take a second and pause and look and see if you can find a red winged blackbird. So now that we've learned all about the red winged blackbird, we have an activity for you. We would like to challenge you to building your own bird's nest.